Okay, I hope I'm audible to all my students who are attending this particular lecture for the PG Economics CUET entrance. In this particular lecture, I'm going to continue with the discussion of the 2024 question paper, which has come up for the PG Economics CUET entrance, which all students can currently see on your screens. Now, all students can recall that in the previous lectures, starting from problem number 1, I had solved till problem number 6. If I scroll down the question paper to problem number 6, students can see that this is the last problem I had solved in the previous lecture. Just to quickly revise with all students that the PG Economics CUET entrance paper contains 75 questions. Okay. All 75 questions are MCQ based and all of them need to be attempted. You get 4 marks for every correct answer. You lose 1 mark for every wrong answer. Okay. So in this lecture, I'm going to quickly start with the discussion from question number 7. If I scroll down the question paper, we're going to start from the discussion of question number 7 in this particular lecture. So let's start with the discussion of this particular lecture. So let's read question number 7. In the Ronald Coase Noble winning cost theorem, if two bargaining parties have zero transaction costs and well-defined property rights over the good and there are no income effects, they will never reach an efficient bargaining solution. They will always reach an efficient bargaining solution. They will reach a bargaining solution with government intervention. They will never be able to reach an efficient bargaining solution with government intervention. Okay. We all know the answer. Students who have subscribed to my complete course, I have covered the Ronald Coase theorem in my lectures on externalities and public goods. Okay. So it simply states that if you leave it to the individuals, there is no government intervention. They will always be able to, the parties will always be through bargaining, efficient bargaining, they will always be able to arrive at the efficient outcome. That means my answer is option 2. They will always reach an efficient bargaining solution for them. I can quickly come to the whiteboard and make all students write the Coase theorem result. I am just first of all writing the main heading just for completeness. This is PG Economics CUET 2024 question paper we are looking at. And we are looking at question number 7. Recall the Coase theorem. Recall the Coase theorem from my lectures on externalities within the intermediate microeconomics. Students who have subscribed to my complete course for CUET PG Economics will be having access to all these lectures. Okay. So you need to recall and revise the Coase theorem, okay, from my lectures on externalities. So this theorem states, that under zero transaction costs, and well-defined property rights, under zero transaction costs and well-defined property rights, bargaining between the parties, will lead to an efficient outcome. It will always lead to an efficient outcome regardless of the initial allocation of property rights. Regardless of the initial allocation of property rights. So I am revising it with all students. Ronald Coase gave this theorem for which he also received a Nobel Prize. Okay, this theorem simply states that if there are two parties and there are zero transaction costs involved between them, that means there is no paperwork, no transaction costs. Okay, then, and if there are well-defined property rights, the property rights can be with party A or with party B. It doesn't matter whether the property rights are given to party A or to party B. When they bargain, it is always going to lead to an efficient allocation. This is what the Coase theorem tells you. So, under the assumption of zero transaction costs, okay, and under the assumption of no income effects, okay, we say that when two parties are going to bargain with each other, it's going to lead to efficient outcome. Okay, it will internalize the externalities. That means two parties, according to Coase theorem, if they interact with each other and they bargain, okay, that is going to help in internalizing the externality, irrespective of who gets the property rights. Okay, this is a very famous theorem. We also do this in the environmental economics course. Okay, so coming back to the question paper. So question 7, our answer is option 2. They will always reach an efficient bargaining solution. Now let's move on to question number 8. Let's look at question number 8. So if I scroll down, for the manufacturing firm, we are given that the cost function is C, which is equal to Q cube plus 2Q square plus Q plus 1. We are given that the marginal, we need to find out the marginal cost at Q equal to 10 and the average cost at Q equal to 10. This is very simple introductory microeconomics. Okay, students should be able to know how to derive the marginal cost from the total cost and how to derive the average cost from the total cost. Something I've covered up in my introductory microeconomics. So if I come back to the whiteboard, I'm just writing what is given to us. We are given that the cost function is C equals QQ plus 2Q square plus Q plus 1. Okay. And we need to find the marginal cost and the average cost at Q equal to 10. How will I find the marginal cost? It's nothing but the derivative of the cost function with respect to Q. So if I do dC by dQ, I get 3Q square. I have to differentiate. Students should know how to differentiate a given function in one variable. So that's 3Q square plus 2 times the derivative of Q square is 2Q. The derivative of Q is 1. The derivative of 1 is 0. So my marginal cost comes out as 3Q square plus 4Q plus 1. And now marginal cost at Q equal to 10 will be, just put Q equal to 10 here. So it's 3 times 10 square plus 4 times 10 plus 1. This is 300 plus 40 plus 1, which is 341. So this is my marginal cost. So I can say, I can write here that the marginal cost at Q equal to 10 comes out as 341. Now, how do we find out the average cost? We use the formula for the average cost. Average cost is nothing but the total cost divided by output. So C by Q. So C is Q cube plus 2Q square plus Q plus 1 over Q. So my average cost is going to be Q cube over Q. I can split the denominator, plus 2Q square over Q plus Q by Q plus 1. So the average cost comes out as, this cancels with the power, making it Q square. This cancels with the power, making it 2Q. This cancels, making it 1 plus 1. So I get my average cost as Q square plus 2Q plus 2. So what will be the average cost at Q equal to 10? It's going to be 10 square plus 2 times 10 plus 2, which is 100 plus 20 plus 2, which comes out as 122. Okay, guys, there's a correction. Please correct this. It's 1 divided by Q. So that means our answer will change. Let me correct myself. It's 1 by q. So q cube by q is q square. 2q square by q is just 2q. Q by q is 1 plus 1 over q. And now if I evaluate average cost at q equal to 10, I get 10 square plus 2 times 10 plus 1 plus 1 over 10. So this is 100 plus 20 plus 1 plus how much is 1 over 10? 0 0.1. So my answer is 121.1. This is my average. So I can write here that the average cost at q equal to 10 has come out as 121. So my answer, these are my answers. Marginal cost is 341, average cost is 121. So if I come back to the question paper, marginal cost is 341, average cost is 121. This is my answer for this question. So hoping all students have understood this. And then one more last question I intend to look at for discussion in this lecture. Question number 9. So let's read question number 9. An allocation for agents in an economy X is said to be Pareto superior to another allocation Y if moving from allocation Y to allocation X increases all agents then. Refer to my lecture notes and lecture videos on general equilibrium. Students who have subscribed to my complete course for PG Economics CUET, you can refer to my lecture notes and lecture videos on general equilibrium. Okay, you will find in-depth discussion of Pareto efficiency and Pareto superiority concepts. Okay, and if I say that X is a Pareto superior allocation compared to Y, then if you're moving from X to Y, it will increase all agents' welfare. So if I come back to the whiteboard, I can just write a line to explain this to all students. Recall from my lectures on general equilibrium. Within the intermediate microeconomics course. That an allocation is said to be, let me write this clearly in case students are not able to see this properly. This is course. An allocation is said to be Pareto superior if it makes at least one individual better off without making anyone worse. Off. Thus improving the overall welfare. Okay, so something we study in welfare economics or neoclassical economics. Okay, and we have also talked about Pareto efficiency when no further gains from trade can be exhausted. So recall that an allocation is said to be Pareto efficient if no more gains from trade can be exhausted. Then we say that an allocation is Pareto efficient. Okay, so I can say that Pareto superiority is just a step towards being a Pareto efficient allocation, because when I say that allocation X is Pareto superior to Y, It means when you move from Y to X, everyone's welfare is becoming better. Or I can say at least one individual's welfare is strictly becoming better without making the other people's welfare going down. So everyone is becoming like better off. That is why I say that moving from Y to X is going to increase everyone's welfare. Okay. So if I come back to the question paper, my answer is option 2. When you move from allocation Y to a Pareto superior allocation X, everyone's welfare will increase. Okay, so I stop in this particular lecture. In the next lecture, I'm going to start with the discussion of question number 9. So I hope all students have enjoyed this lecture. Any doubts, you can unmute your mic and ask, or you can get in touch with me for doubts on call or WhatsApp, or you can mail me your doubts at divineschoolofeconomics@gmail.com. This is where I stop in this lecture.